Chosen one, take a breath. Feel this moment. The reason you're hearing these words is no coincidence. Heaven has arranged this encounter because you've been walking through a season of separation, and it has left you wondering, why did they leave me? Why did I lose the people I thought I needed most? But God says it was never loss, it was alignment. You see, the wrong people were never meant to walk with you into the next chapter of your destiny. Some of them carried hearts that could not handle your light. Others were secretly praying for your downfall while smiling in your face. And God, in His mercy, allowed the disconnections to protect you from the contamination of counterfeit connections. This message is not here to make you mourn what's gone. It's here to awaken you to what's coming. Because where there has been subtraction, heaven is preparing addition. Where there has been rejection, divine selection is taking place. You are about to encounter a new kind of companionship. Kingdom helpers, people sent by God, anointed to lift a line and accelerate you. They will not compete with you. They will complete what God has started in you. They will not drain your spirit. They will pour into your purpose. They will not use your gift. They will protect your grace. The season of false alliances is over. The pruning was painful, but it was prophetic. You thought you were being abandoned, but you were actually being positioned. Every empty chair in your life is being reserved for a divine connection. So don't cry over who left. Rejoice that God is clearing space for what's divine. Because the next faces that enter your life will not come to test your faith. They will come to confirm it. And by the end of this message, you will see that the separation was never rejection. It was redirection. Stay with me, chosen one. There is revelation waiting for you in what felt like ruin. You didn't lose what was meant for you. Heaven saw the weight you were carrying and the intentions hidden behind certain smiles. When the pruning began, it wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Every goodbye was scheduled by divine timing, even when it came wrapped in confusion. God has been watching over your journey, ensuring that no voice, no influence, and no alliance could distort the purity of what He placed inside you. There were prayers you prayed in tears that you thought were unanswered. But heaven's silence was not neglect. It was strategy. God was rearranging your circle, not because you were unworthy, but because your environment was too small for the anointing that's expanding within you. Some doors had to shut so that destiny could have room to breathe. This is the mystery of divine orchestration. When God is preparing you for increase, He first protects you through isolation. The silence you felt wasn't abandonment. It was the sound of angels shifting things behind the scenes. You thought you were being left alone, but in truth, heaven was closing certain roads that led to delay. And now, after the shaking, a divine calm is emerging. The Spirit of God whispers, what is coming next requires purity of heart and clarity of vision. That's why the crowd got smaller. That's why familiar hands fell away. The stage is being cleared for kingdom alignment. Even as you listen now, the presence of God hovers near, gentle yet unmistakable, affirming that you are not forgotten. Every person who walked away only made room for those heaven has chosen to walk in. The Father is not finished writing your story. He's simply turning the page. Do you feel it? That quiet stirring deep in your chest, that it's not anxiety. That's confirmation. The wind of change has shifted direction. It's no longer blowing things out of your life. It's beginning to bring new things in. Helpers are being dispatched, hearts are being prepared, and divine appointments are aligning themselves on your path. This is not coincidence. This is covenant. You're stepping into a season where heaven's connections will locate you. Strangers will suddenly speak words that sound like they've known your soul for years. Doors that once refused to open will unlock without effort. The same God who removed the wrong people is sending the right ones, carriers of wisdom, loyalty, and divine favor. Let this truth settle gently but firmly. You are surrounded by purpose, not abandonment. The rearrangement was not punishment. It was preparation. God never subtracts without the intention to multiply. And soon you'll understand that what looked like loss was actually the setup for divine partnership. Listen closely, because what comes next is not ordinary insight. It is divine revelation. Heaven is making an announcement concerning you. Your circle is changing because your calling is expanding. The pruning that once felt painful was the sound of destiny rearranging the room. What was taken was never meant to remain. What is coming will not be temporary. In the unseen realm, the scroll of your life has turned to a new chapter, one titled Kingdom Alignment. Heaven has sealed it with purpose, and your name has been written upon it in light. You are entering a season where divine partnerships are not only possible, they are promised. You've walked through seasons where you poured into others who could not hold your oil. You spoke life into people who were never meant to stay beyond the lesson. You stretched your heart for those who could not recognize its value. But now the balance is shifting. What you gave without return will come back multiplied. The Spirit of the Lord says, I am sending those who will recognize you by the Spirit, not by appearance. They will not be drawn by your status, your possessions, or your performance. They will discern the divine mark upon your life. These kingdom helpers, chosen, refined, and obedient, are being released to assist you in building what heaven has shown you in secret. They come with divine timing, not human approval. Some will appear suddenly like answers disguised as strangers. Others will emerge from forgotten connections, revived by divine purpose. Do not question how they find you. Question only if your heart is ready to receive them. This is not random. It is prophetic fulfillment. The same God who isolated you is now aligning you. Every divine connection carries a piece of your destiny puzzle. When these souls enter your path, you will feel an immediate recognition, not from the mind, but from the Spirit. Conversations will flow with divine ease. Plans will form without striving. Provision will manifest through obedience. And here is the mystery: your helpers are not simply people, they are answers. God is clothing wisdom in human form and sending it to walk beside you. Where confusion once lived, clarity will arrive through counsel. Where exhaustion lingered, strength will come through partnership. The assignments that once felt too heavy will become light because the burden will now be shared with those heaven approves. Do not be surprised if some of them are not who you expected. They may come from different walks of life, unfamiliar backgrounds, or unexpected nations. But you will know them by the peace they bring and the alignment they carry. When they speak, your spirit will feel a quiet yes. In this next season, destiny is not meant to be carried alone. The lone wilderness is ending, and community is being restored, not worldly companionship, but sacred alliance. Heaven is rebuilding your support system from the ground up. Every prayer, every tear, every lonely night was heard. Nothing was wasted. The pruning was the prophecy. The silence was the setup. And now, in the fullness of divine timing, you stand at the threshold of convergence, the meeting point between what was promised and what is manifesting. The Father is sending help, but not just any help. He's sending kingdom helpers, those who carry spiritual keys to unlock new levels in your calling. Your assignment is too great for isolation. What is being built through your life is meant to impact generations. That's why the separation had to happen first, to protect the foundation. But now, the construction begins. Prepare your heart. Stay alert. Because before this year closes its chapter, you will look around and realize that the emptiness has been replaced by divine presence, not just in your spirit, but through the people heaven has assigned to your purpose. The wrong people left, so the right ones could find you. The prophecy is already in motion, and soon you will see what heaven has been arranging all along. When God begins to move people in and out of your life, it's never random. The divine realm does not operate on coincidence. It functions through alignment. Every relationship in your story is either an assignment or a lesson. And when its purpose is fulfilled, heaven initiates a shift. There is a spiritual law at work here, the law of divine substitution. Before God sends something holy, he must remove what is harmful. Before he brings covenant, he must end counterfeit. Before the kingdom builds, the clutter must clear. The divine can only dwell in spaces that are purified, not crowded. The pruning you endured was not rejection, it was preparation. Think of a gardener tending to a vine. He trims not because he hates the branch, but because he sees what it can become. Cutting it back ensures fruitfulness later. In the same way, every separation you experienced was heaven's way of making room for fruit you haven't yet seen. Many mistake divine pruning for demonic attack. But what if the very thing that broke your heart was the thing that saved your purpose? What if the door that closed was heaven's mercy disguised as pain? The spiritual meaning behind this prophecy is this: God removes to reveal. He takes away so he can unveil what's been hidden beneath the noise. This is the rhythm of transformation. You cannot ascend while clinging to anchors. You cannot walk into the new season carrying the weight of the old one. The wrong people were chapters, not the conclusion. Their exit was not punishment. It was punctuation, a divine comma before a greater continuation. Let's go deeper. In every divine story, separation precedes revelation. Before Abraham became a father of nations, he was told to leave his father's house. Before Joseph entered the palace, he was thrown into the pit. Before David wore the crown, he was hidden in caves. The pattern is timeless. Separation always comes before elevation. When you were isolated, heaven was incubating your identity. The wilderness wasn't wasted time. It was sacred time. God was detoxing your soul from dependency on those who could not discern your worth. You were never abandoned. You were being refined. There are also seasons in the spirit, times and cycles that mirror nature. You've lived through a spiritual winter where everything seemed dormant. But winter is not death. It's dormancy before rebirth. The roots strengthen underground while the surface seems still. Now the soil of your life is shifting. The season of dormancy is giving way to divine emergence. The same wind that scattered old leaves is about to carry new seeds. Doors, too, are symbols of transition. The doors that closed were not locked against you. They were sealed to protect you from entering prematurely. The new doors that open in this next chapter will not require force. They will open by recognition. Heaven knows your name, and what belongs to you cannot remain closed forever. Every soul you meet carries frequency. Some vibrate with confusion, others with purpose. The wrong people operated on the wrong frequency, and that's why the connection eventually broke. The misalignment was spiritual, not personal. You didn't fail them. Heaven filtered them. When the vibration of your destiny rises, anything that cannot match it must fall away. Now, as the veil lifts, you'll understand why the distance was necessary. Your energy had to be purified, your focus recalibrated. God was teaching you to discern hearts instead of words, fruit instead of flattery, presence instead of promises. The deeper meaning of this message is not just that God is replacing people. It's that He's restoring purity in your connections. You're learning to value loyalty over popularity, peace over presence, and discernment over desire. The relationships that are coming are not built on convenience, but covenant. So hold this truth firmly. What left was never meant to carry your next mantle. The wrong people were part of the rehearsal. The right ones are part of the revelation. Your spirit can feel the shift, even now that quiet knowing that something sacred is approaching. This is not just a word of comfort. It's a word of alignment. Heaven is synchronizing your relationships with your purpose. Every past betrayal, every lonely night, every goodbye was preparation for kingdom partnership. You are being repositioned not only for favor, but for functionality. You will no longer have to beg for support. Those who enter next will recognize your assignment, honor your anointing, and help you carry what was once too heavy. The spiritual depth of this prophecy is simple yet profound. God isolates before he elevates, removes before he reveals, and prunes before he multiplies. What was taken from you created the very space where the blessing can now rest. You are not in decline. You are in divine design. The storm that once tore through your connections was heaven's wind clearing the way for covenant rain. When heaven begins to move, it always leaves evidence. Divine alignment is never silent. It hums through the atmosphere, echoing in subtle yet unmistakable ways. If you have been sensing that something new is drawing near, you're not imagining it. These are the signs of confirmation, the quiet fingerprints of God revealing that kingdom helpers are already on their way. The first sign is the shift in your spirit. You've noticed that the pain of the past no longer burns the same way. The memories still exist, but they've lost their sting. That's not emotional numbness, that's spiritual healing. God has been softening your heart, preparing it to trust again. The moment forgiveness began to replace bitterness, the doors of divine connection began to unlock. Healing is always heaven's signal that new alignment is approaching. The second sign is divine restlessness. Lately, you've felt that certain places, people, or routines no longer fit. You can't explain it, but your soul feels like it's outgrowing its surroundings. That's not confusion, that's transition. When destiny begins to pull you forward, comfort zones start to lose their warmth. The spirit within you begins to stir, nudging you toward divine encounters that haven't yet been revealed. The third sign is sacred coincidence, or what the natural mind calls coincidence, but heaven calls confirmation. You'll begin to meet people who mirror your purpose. You'll overhear conversations that echo the very prayers you've whispered. Numbers, phrases, dreams. Even random encounters will begin to synchronize in patterns too precise to ignore. It's the universe's way of saying, I'm orchestrating this. These alignments are not small talk. They are spiritual breadcrumbs leading you toward those you are destined to meet. The fourth sign is the release of unnecessary weight. You'll suddenly feel an inner freedom from attachments you once couldn't let go of. Relationships that used to consume your thoughts no longer control your emotions. Habits, environments, or even goals that once defined you begin to fade into the background. This detachment isn't loss, it's elevation. Heaven is making room within you for new assignments and divine connections. The fifth sign is renewed vision. You'll find fresh ideas awakening within you. Creative impulses, sudden bursts of inspiration, clarity about what's next. When new people are about to enter your life, God always awakens the purpose they're meant to support. You'll feel compelled to plan, to build, to prepare. That stirring of readiness is the echo of divine timing. And finally, the sixth sign, peace without explanation. There will come a calm that defies reason. You'll wake up one day and realize you're not anxious about what left, nor desperate for what's next. You'll just know that you're in the right place at the right time. That peace is the signature of divine orchestration. Heaven never rushes peace. It plants it. These signs are heaven's whispers, reminding you that the wait was not in vain. The kingdom helpers are not distant. They are already being positioned. Their paths are crossing yours even now, unseen, but inevitable. Every sign, every stirring, every divine coincidence is heaven speaking in code. Get ready, help is near. Before the promise comes to pass, there is always a final test, a sacred refining that separates those who expect from those who truly believe. This is the stage where the enemy whispers most and where faith is stretched the furthest. You've already walked through pruning. But before kingdom helpers arrive, heaven often allows one more layer of challenge, not to punish you, but to prepare your perception. You may notice unexpected resistance. People who once seemed supportive might suddenly withdraw or misunderstand you. Don't be alarmed. The light on your life is increasing, and not everyone can stand in its brilliance. When your spirit begins to glow with clarity, hidden intentions around you become exposed. It's not a new battle, it's simply revelation. Then there is the challenge of divine delay. The waiting can feel unbearable, especially when you've already surrendered so much. You might look at the empty spaces around you and wonder, when will help come? But remember, God is not slow. He is precise. The kingdom works on appointed times, not anxious timelines. The waiting refines your discernment, teaching you to trust His movement, even when it's invisible. Another hidden challenge is emotional fatigue. After seasons of loss, even good news can feel heavy. You might question if you have the strength to start over, to open your heart again, to trust again, to believe again. But this is where the Holy Spirit moves most tenderly. When you have nothing left but faith, you are perfectly positioned for divine partnership. God sends helpers not when you feel strong, but when you are humble enough to receive. There may also be tests of discernment. Counterfeits often appear before the real thing. This is not coincidence, it's calibration. God allows imitation opportunities to test your sensitivity to His voice. You'll need to look beyond appearance, beyond charisma, beyond similarity, and discern energy, peace, and fruit. The ones heaven sends will not rush you, pressure you, or confuse you. Their presence will bring clarity, not chaos. And finally, there's the challenge of spiritual warfare. Whenever a divine connection is about to be born, resistance increases. Attacks may rise in your thoughts, dreams, or even your environment. But don't retreat in fear that pressure is proof that breakthrough is near. The darkness only fights what threatens it. Your next level terrifies the enemy because it involves unity. Two aligned souls in divine purpose are exponentially powerful. These challenges are not detours, they're confirmations in disguise. Heaven is training your vision to recognize what is truly sacred. When it feels hardest to hold on, that's when your promise is nearest. So if you feel weary, misunderstood, or delayed, breathe. You're not off track. You're being refined for recognition. Because when your kingdom helpers appear, you'll know them instantly, not by sight but by spirit. Stay anchored. The shaking is temporary. The alignment is eternal. Now that you understand the meaning behind the separation and the signs of what's coming, heaven gives you divine instruction, not just to wait for your helpers, but to prepare for them. For when destiny arrives, it will not knock gently. It will require readiness, humility, and alignment. The first instruction is to purify your space, both inner and outer. Before new people can enter, the energy around you must be cleared of what no longer belongs. That means releasing grudges, cleaning physical clutter, and letting go of emotional residue. Forgiveness is the doorway through which divine connection walks in. When you let go of bitterness, you make room for blessing. God cannot fill hands still gripping offense. So speak these words daily. I release what no longer serves my soul. I welcome what heaven sends in love. The second instruction is to strengthen your discernment. Every helper carries divine purpose. But discernment ensures you recognize the real from the counterfeit. Take time in quietness before reacting to new opportunities or invitations. Ask not, "Do I like this person?" but rather, "Does my spirit rest in their presence?" True connections bring peace, not pressure. Remember, discernment is not suspicion, it's spiritual sensitivity refined by prayer. The third instruction is to remain anchored in obedience. When your circle shifts, so will your instructions. God may ask you to move differently, to change routines, projects, or even locations. Do not resist the nudges. Delayed obedience can delay divine appointments. Every act of surrender realigns your path with those heaven has prepared to meet you. Your next divine encounter could hinge on a simple yes. The fourth instruction is to nurture your calling. Your purpose is the magnet for your helpers. The more you walk in your assignment, the faster alignment happens. So write that book record, that message, start that project, or return to that vision you laid aside. Kingdom helpers are not sent to build your identity. They're sent to build with you. But if you stop moving, there's nothing for them to attach to. Heaven funds forward motion. The fifth instruction is to cultivate humility and openness. Sometimes divine help comes from unexpected vessels. A stranger's advice, a small conversation, a moment that seems unimportant, these can carry answers. Don't dismiss what looks ordinary. God often hides greatness in simplicity. Keep your heart teachable. The kingdom flows through vessels that are open, not proud. The sixth instruction is to guard your atmosphere. What you watch, listen to, and speak creates the tone of your spiritual home. Words are invitations. Complaints attract confusion. Gratitude attracts grace. Declare peace over your day, speak life over your path, and stay away from conversations that poison your spirit. The helpers God sends will not thrive in toxic soil, they flourish in environments of faith. And the final instruction, stay expectant. Expectation is faith in motion. It tells heaven, I believe something good is already unfolding. Each morning before your feet touch the floor, whisper, today I align with divine purpose. Today, heaven orders my steps. That small declaration opens invisible gates. These instructions are not rituals, they are alignments. They help you move in rhythm with divine timing. When you purify your heart, sharpen discernment, walk in obedience, nurture your gift, stay humble, guard your atmosphere, and live in expectation, you create a landing place for divine partnerships. Remember, God does not send help to confusion. He sends it to clarity. The clearer your spirit becomes, the faster the connection finds you. So prepare quietly. Stay in peace. When the moment comes, you will not need to chase. You will simply recognize. Heaven's network is already in motion. All you must do is stay ready for the divine intersection that is written in your timeline. As this new season unfolds, heaven wants you to know something vital. You are not stepping forward unprotected. Every movement you make under divine instruction is covered. Even when you cannot see it, a shield surrounds you, woven from grace, prayer, and divine decree. The same God who removed the wrong people has also placed invisible barriers around your purpose. You have been through attacks that should have broken you, betrayals that should have silenced you, yet here you stand still, carrying light. That is not coincidence. That is evidence of protection. Understand this: when you are chosen, you become both a target and a treasure. But heaven never anoints without guarding. The angels assigned to your journey have not been reassigned. They have watched over you through every sleepless night, through every whispered doubt, through every unseen storm. Even in the silence, they stood between you and unseen danger. This next chapter may open new doors, but it will also bring new visibility. With that comes spiritual warfare, yet fear not. God never exposes you without surrounding you. There is a hedge around your home, your mind, your finances, and your destiny. You may feel winds, but they will not uproot you. You may see shadows, but they will not touch your flame. When the right people enter your life, you might feel old fears rise, fear of betrayal, fear of loss, fear of being used again. But the Spirit of God says, you are safe in this season. The old cycles are broken. What's coming carries heaven's seal, not human illusion. Every time you pray, light expands around you. Every word of faith becomes armor. When you worship through worry, you reinforce the walls of divine defense. You have not been walking alone. You've been walking covered. Even now, divine presence surrounds your name. Angels go before you to prepare conversations, meetings, and encounters. Where you once struggled for favor, it will now meet you. Where you once fought for understanding, it will now flow freely. Remember this image of flame enclosed within glass. The fire still burns, but the wind cannot touch it. That is you, illuminated but insulated. God's protection does not always remove storms. It empowers you to shine through them. So rest. You are guarded in the going out and the coming in. The very path you walk is lined with divine appointment. You are not vulnerable. You are hidden in plain sight. No weapon formed against your new alignment will prosper. No tongue that rises against your destiny will stand. For what God ordains, He also defends. Move forward not in fear, but in faith. The presence that preserved you in isolation will also protect you in elevation. You are encircled, covered, sealed, and watched over. Nothing and no one can snatch what heaven has marked as yours. And now we arrive at the turning point, the moment where what was promised begins to take form. You've endured the pruning, walked through the silence, waited through the delay, and obeyed through uncertainty. Now, heaven moves from preparation to manifestation. Transformation doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it enters softly through peace, through divine flow, through faces that feel like home. The shift won't just happen around you, it will happen within you. You'll wake up one morning and notice that something has changed. The heaviness that once sat on your spirit will be gone. The air will feel lighter, your thoughts clearer, your emotions steady. That is the quiet evidence that heaven's alignment has settled. Then one by one, the kingdom helpers will begin to appear, not as random encounters, but as divine appointments, people who speak to your spirit, not your circumstance. They'll remind you of forgotten dreams, rekindle old visions, and breathe courage back into tired faith. Their presence will not demand your energy. It will multiply it. Where you once carried burdens alone, you will now carry them together. Where you once prayed for understanding, you'll now walk with those who simply understand. There will be a new flow of collaboration, not competition, not confusion, but mutual recognition. The kind of partnership where you both know you were divinely assigned to meet. And through this, your destiny will unfold in ways you could not have scripted. Projects will be completed with ease. Doors that resisted you for years will open. Provision will come through unexpected channels. People will bless you without knowing why, because they are responding to heaven's pull, not human logic. You will feel lighter, freer, stronger, because you're no longer fighting alone. You're aligned with the current of divine momentum. Every conversation will feel purposeful, every opportunity anointed. The path that once felt like wilderness will now feel like orchestration. Spiritually, you'll feel a deeper sense of home. The loneliness that once haunted you will fade into quiet gratitude. The isolation that felt endless will now make perfect sense. It was training for discernment. You'll look back and say, now I see why they left. Now I understand why I had to walk alone first. Emotionally healing will no longer be a process. It will be a presence. The Holy Spirit will rest upon your heart in peace that no circumstance can disturb. And outwardly, fruit will appear. Your creativity, your influence, your relationships, your finances, all will reflect divine synchronization. The struggle for traction will end, because grace will replace grind. The helpers sent by God are not just companions, they are catalysts. Their arrival signals multiplication in favor, in purpose, in visibility. But perhaps the most beautiful transformation will be this: you will become to others what you once needed most. You will step into the role of a kingdom helper yourself, guiding, comforting, aligning others who are walking through their pruning. Because every chosen one becomes a helper in time. It's the cycle of divine partnership. This is fulfillment, not just receiving help, but becoming help. Not just finding alignment, but becoming alignment. Heaven's ecosystem is circular. What you receive, you are meant to release. And when that realization settles, your soul will overflow with gratitude. You'll realize it was never just about who left or who came. It was always about who you became through it all. You have transformed. You have arrived. And the story that once felt broken has become a testimony of divine orchestration. Take a deep breath. Let these final words settle into your spirit like light finding still water. You've walked through loss, through refining, through revelation. And now you stand beneath the open heaven of fulfillment. The hardest part is over. The waiting is shifting into witnessing. You have endured what others could not. You've chosen faith when fear felt louder. You've stayed soft when life tried to harden you. And heaven saw it all. Now it's time to seal this word, not just with belief, but with declaration. Speak these affirmations aloud. Let them echo in your space like a divine decree. I am aligned with heaven's timing, and everything meant for me is finding me. This affirmation roots you in trust. You are no longer chasing. You are attracting through obedience. Every person who enters my life from this day forward is divinely assigned. This invites only kingdom connections, sealing your atmosphere with discernment and peace. What left was never loss. It was divine preparation for increase. This transforms your perception. You see now that endings are disguised beginnings. I walk in grace, I move in purpose, and I am surrounded by divine help. This anchors you in confidence. You are not waiting for provision. You are walking in it. Now lift your thoughts higher. Imagine your life as a temple built stone by stone through every season you've survived. The cracks in the foundation have been filled with faith. The walls shimmer with resilience. The wind no longer shakes you. It carries your voice farther. Heaven smiles upon this moment. The same spirit that whispered through your isolation now crowns you with clarity. The helpers are on their way, carrying answers, resources, and alignment. You will not miss them, and they will not miss you. Every path is converging by divine appointment. So rest, beloved soul. You are stepping into divine flow where everything lost returns in higher form. Your name is being spoken in rooms you have not yet entered. Favor is walking ahead of you, and peace is walking beside you. This word is sealed in faith, wrapped in grace, and confirmed by the Spirit of truth. You are covered. You are chosen. You are ready. May the peace of God overshadow your past, the wisdom of heaven guide your steps, and the love of the Father crown your next chapter. It is done. It is written. It is released.